All right, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to go through why 99% of you are failing with AI, the 3 mistakes that you are making that are not allowing you to be in that top 1% that is printing money, increasing their productivity 10x, and talking all over the place about how AI is changing the world. So without further ado, let's dive in. I'm Matthew Rosenberg, CEO of Solin. We have over 220,000 users on our fitness platform. And I want to go through today the 3 mistakes that are killing your productivity with AI, and then show you a real world example of how I've implemented or learned from those same mistakes I've made and implemented different AI processes into Solin, such as building out an onboarding email sequence with AI, taking that process from like 2-3 days to 2 hours and making it 10x better. So I'm actually going to go ahead and show you that in this. But there are 3 mistakes that are absolutely killing your AI results. And with those 3 mistakes, they may seem simple. They may seem like, oh yeah, like I know this, but I'm going to actually go through how you can change your mindset so that you can get the absolute most out of AI. So number 1, lazy prompting, right? Lazy prompting, by the way, I'm lazy. I'm as lazy as they come. So my prompts are lazy, but what I mean by lazy prompting is not giving it any context, right? If you just tell the AI in my onboarding email example, if you just tell the AI, hey, create an onboarding sequence for Solin, right? It's not going to have any of the context that you want. What is Solin? What do you want in the onboarding sequence? What's the ultimate goal of that? Who is your target customer? What are you trying to get them to do? And so you got to give it a lot more context so that you can get the result that you want. So lazy prompts are number 1. Number 2 is fire hose requests, right? I used to do this. I used to say, hey, AI, ChatGPT, I want 5 different email campaigns, one for this type of person, one for this type of person, one for this. No, start with one thing and then build off of that one thing. And again, I'll show you exactly what I mean by that in a second. And then number 3, set it and forget it outputs. So a lot of people are just thinking of AI as, oh yeah, let me ask it to do something for me, and then whatever it gives back, that's your output. No, that's not how it works, right? Once AI comes back to you with an output, usually you have to refine that 3, 4, 5, 10 times to actually get the correct output. And so the real power and magic of AI is not just that, hey, you can ask it 5 words or 10 words, you can give it 5, 10 words and it comes back with something that's going to print you money or make you 10x more productive or be an amazing fitness program for you, right? No, it's that you can use AI to make yourself much more productive, right? So instead of just giving 5, 10-word prompts, you can actually give a thoughtful prompt, and then, it's not going to take you 1 second. It might take you 30 seconds, right? But you need to spend those extra 29 seconds to actually give it enough context to get something of value. And then once you get that return, right? Once you get that value, it's probably not perfect yet, right? You probably have to go back and forth with AI and refine that, right? So you can't just set it and forget it. You can't be lazy on the prompting, and you can't just be giving it fire hose requests. You got to take it one step at a time. Think of it like an employee of yours or an assistant of yours, where the same way you would talk to a human being, a person, break it down into simple, fundamental tasks, give them enough context to do the job. That's how you have to treat AI. So this is all very, in the sky type context here, but let's actually go through how I used AI to create my email campaigns, because I think actually seeing a real world example of this, and by the way, I was shocked at the output I got from AI with this, but seeing a real world example is going to be super valuable for you. So let's dive in. Let's come over to this onboarding email for Solin. So this is my little chat that I did earlier today, and literally I wrote 5 different onboarding. I'll show you the output. I'll show you this thing. I wrote 5 different onboarding sequences in 2 hours with AI. And it probably would have taken me 2 days to do this myself. And I don't think that the output would have been, 50% as good. It would have been so much worse. So take a look at my prompt here, right? And again, I'm pretty lazy when it comes to prompting. So when I say lazy prompting, you can still be lazy with AI. You don't have to worry about formatting. You don't have to worry about, writing everything out, but you got to give it enough context that it knows where it's going. So I'm trying to write an onboarding email after somebody purchases Solin Prime. I want to reaffirm their purchase, right? I'm giving it the goal. I want to reaffirm their purchase, have them download the app to create their first meal plan, which will take 30 seconds, right? I want to make an incredible welcome email that gives them exactly what they need, how to download the app, maybe with a picture of the inside of the app, and I want to reaffirm they've made the right decision and this is going to change their life. Here's the sales page they're subscribing on. So I give them all of the words from the sales page they're coming from, and then I ask it to do that for me, right? So think about how much more context I gave it than just saying, hey, can you please create an onboarding email for me? Like I told it a lot more and gave this model a lot more information. I love, by the way, the O3 model. The O3 model is super amazing. I have the Pro plan that you get it in Plus as well. If you don't have access to O3, you could use any of the models, right? Or even Gemini 2.5 is really good. Anyways, here it comes back with, welcome to Solin Prime. Your first high protein meal plan is 30 seconds away. Here's the preview text. So it even gives you the preview text. It gives you the entire email here. You did it by joining Solin Prime. You took the fastest, simplest step towards smarter eating. In the next 30 seconds, you'll get blah, blah, blah. And then it gives you, get the app, create your first plan, 30 seconds, see why thousands love Solin. Need help? Just hit reply or email support at Solin Fitness. So I love this email campaign. But in the spirit of like talking through my mistakes, right? What a lot of people do is they'll just take this, what did it do here? Like, I think it hallucinated here, and it gave an example of a quote that like wasn't a real quote from the landing page I gave it. And it's like, most people are going to look at that and be like, ugh, like AI is just messing up, right? It's going to do that. And yes, I could have been a little bit more explicit in my prompting to tell it not to hallucinate. But again, I'm too lazy for that in some instances. So in this instance, maybe it doesn't give me exactly what I want. But what do I do here? I'm like, this was really good. So I then took that email, I put it into a Google Doc, and I just went through it myself and edited it. I added, the non-hallucinated prompt. I added the non-hallucinated quote. I added a third quote here. I added a little bit more stylistic formatting. I could have gone back and forth with AI and ChatGPT and asked it to make these updates for me, but honestly, it was so close to good that I was, I figured and I knew it would take me 5 minutes to edit this here and I'd get it exactly how I wanted it. And so I was able to start from a really good place because I gave AI a strong prompt to begin with, and then I was able to edit that myself, right? So how did I not make those 3 mistakes that I mentioned, right? 1, my prompt was not lazy. I gave it enough context. 2, it was not a fire hose request. I knew I wanted all 5 of these campaigns, but I was like, let's start with 1, and then we'll tag on. We'll add on to that after. So I did not make a fire hose request. And then 3, at the end of it, I refined it. I didn't just take their output and say, oh, this is crap. This is not good. Obviously, it wasn't perfect, right? Like, it's not going to be perfect. It doesn't have your brain in there yet. Your brain is not in there yet. Maybe in 6 months it will be. But right now, you still need to refine it. And so I refined it, right? And it took me 5-10 minutes instead of starting from scratch and taking me 3-5 hours, right? So I then proceeded to say, great, thanks. Can you please create a super, I think I actually changed this a few times. So this is where I ended. I said, great, thanks. Can you please create a super simple email sequence for people who have not yet downloaded the app in the first 7 days? Feel free to add fitness knowledge. Don't forget to use the core principles of reminding them what's in it for them. I know that's super important. And then I told chat, I said, it's all about getting healthier, losing fat, building muscle, achieving their goals, getting more confident. We don't know exactly where each of these people are in their fitness journeys, right? There's different avatars, but we can keep it generic enough to create impact for everybody. Please keep it punchy and do whatever you think is going to get them to actually download the app and create their first plan. Our problem as a company right now, as you can probably tell from these emails, or one of our problems, is that people aren't actually downloading the app after they sign up for this. And we know that if they download the app, they're much more likely to stick around for longer and get much more value. So that's why all of my messaging is around downloading the app, right? If I don't give AI this context, if I'm a lazy prompter, all I say is, great, thanks. Please create a super simple email sequence for people who have not yet downloaded the app in the first 7 days. And I cut it there, I'm going to get a crappy 7-day sequence. But because I told it all of this context, use the core principles of reminding them what's in it for them. I told ChatGPT what this is all about. I told them to keep it punchy, and I said, do whatever you think is going to get them to actually download the app. And then on top of that, I told them, here's how I think the sequence should be laid out. 2 hours later, 23 hours later, 3 days later, 5 days later, with a reminder that your trial expires in 2 days, and you have a 30-day money-back guarantee. 6 days later, a reminder your trial expires in 1 day, you have a 30-day money-back guarantee. And then I said, each of these should reference, we noticed you haven't downloaded the app. They should be very simple. Please use social proof. If you need more social proof, let me know. So I know I'm saying don't be a lazy prompter, but like this prompt, honestly, is still very, like, when I say lazy prompting, I mean, don't just give it one line. Like, give it context. This is still really lazy. Like, I'm still being really lazy. I'm just feeding it everything in my brain and typing as fast as I can. And this takes me 30 seconds, maybe a minute to type up. It's still a lazy prompt, but it's way less lazy than just giving one line with no context, right? And so my point here is not like, you need every prompt to be perfect. No, my point is more, give it all the context that it needs. Give it the main things in your head. even if you're just spewing them out, and then refine, right? Don't just like set it and forget it. So anyways, it comes back with a 7-day no download nudge sequence. All copies short, skimmable, and focused on one goal. Tap the download button. So it gives me email 1, 2 hours after sign up. Email 2, 23 hours later. I mean, like, let's look at how good this email is. It's amazing. This 10-minute protein hack beats what's for dinner forever. Still no app? Let's fix that. Hey, first name, preparing healthy food shouldn't feel like a second job. This app hands you meals under 10 minutes plus a grocery list that fits your budget. By the way, it's grabbing that from the sales page that I fed it earlier here. That's minutes saved, calories counted, muscles fed. Abby's go-to, cheesecake overnight oats, 4 minutes, 28 grams of protein, tastes like dessert. Grab the app, create your plan in one tap. Don't leave progress unread. Let's go look at that email, and I'll show you how I updated that. I loved their subject. I loved their preview. We don't need to change anything there. I loved this. I don't think I really changed anything there. All I did, Abby's go-to, I know that cheesecake overnight oats didn't have 28 grams of protein. It hallucinated there. I think it was like 34 grams of protein. And so I just went back in our database and I looked at the cheesecake overnight oats and I noticed it had 34 grams of protein and I added that in there, right? So I didn't just set it and forget it, but their email was so good that I was able to keep 95% of it and then make the tweak that I knew needed to be made for the email to be accurate. Day 3, day 5, all these other things they also did an amazing job. And I just went in, changed a few of their hallucinations. And just, there were a few things that it talked about with the app that weren't even true. So I just made changes to those, but it gave me a structure that was really good. Again, this took me like 10, 15 minutes and an amazing 5-7 day email sequence. Like if I was doing this myself, I'd be too lazy to write all 5 of these days. I would just write one day and send it to my team, be like, let's implement this. And now we've lost out on those extra, 6 days of sequence. But because I have AI and I can write a 1-minute prompt for it to actually do an amazing job for me, now I can work from, being 95% of the way there and make the last 5% improvements to make this incredible in way less time. So that's what we did. I also know okay, I can't just give that to my team. So I need to give tips for implementation. So they gave me a few tips down at the bottom, but I was like, this isn't really accurate. Like some of this stuff isn't accurate. So I just wrote this myself, right? Send each email only if has set up account equals false and has canceled equals false. If they set up an account or cancel, stop the email sequence. So I give that to my team. And for actual implementation of the iOS and Android download buttons, feel free to design however you think best. So I actually have a design team to go and design this for me. But if you didn't have that and you were just typing this into your own email provider, you could obviously implement these things yourself, right? Okay, then I said, now can you please create a super simple email sequence for somebody who downloaded the app but did not yet create their first meal plan? Something like, hey, we saw you download the app but didn't get your first meal plan, or you didn't create your first meal plan. We hope you're getting all the value from the other features, but people who create their first meal plan report a much higher level of satisfaction with Solin. Feel free to add fitness knowledge. Don't forget to use core principles, blah, 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 right? You can tell, I'm thinking about this myself from first principles, and then I'm writing it down for AI and asking it to actually go do the heavy lifting, do the dirty work, right? And so again, think of yourself as this orchestrator. Think of yourself as the person, hey, I have all the knowledge still, but let me give it instructions the same way I would an employee. And then AI is going to go and do an amazing job, a 10x better job than they would, again, if you were lazy prompting. Or if you were fire hose requesting here, asking for all 5 of these sequences at once, right? Or all 5 of these sequences at once. So anyways, it does an amazing job. Email 1, 2 hours after install. Let's read this one again, just so you can see how good it is. Your first meal plan is 2 taps away. Open Solin, tap create my plan, done. Hi name, great move installing Solin. Quick heads up, we noticed you haven't built your first high protein meal plan yet. Takes around 30 seconds. Open the app, tap create my plan, answer 3 quick questions, boom, you're set for the week. Kiki lost 9.8 pounds in 6 weeks. The plan took seconds to generate and made healthy eating effortless. Personalized plan equals less decision fatigue, faster results. Give it a go now and see how easy nutrition can be. Open Solin, create my plan. I think it hallucinated here, but I'm pretty sure I kept almost everything else, right? So you can see this here. And then I know that Kiki didn't say what ChatGPT said it said. It said, or she said, I love the new meal plan generated. The upgrade now is definitely top tier, right? So, and then I added a link to Solin app, right? Again, I'm thinking from first principles. I'm thinking for myself. AI is doing an amazing job with the first draft, but I'm saying, well, AI left out the link to the Solin app. We got to include the app there, right? And so it should have done that. Not a big deal, right? It got me 95% of the way there. And again, I could edit this in ChatGPT and say, hey, can you please include the link to the app? right? I don't know why I'm typing that out. You know what I just said, but I'd rather just do it myself here. That's going to be easier for me, right? So then I hand that off to the team again for the third one. Next, I had to create a little SMS nudge. So two texts, a super simple text message nudge sequence. I don't want to annoy people. So only do what you think makes the most sense. They've already downloaded the app, so they may be getting lots of value from it. I don't want to annoy them, right? And so it just created a super simple thing. It said something that wasn't true. I said, this line is not true. I don't have stats on this. How can we make this more powerful without explicitly saying 3x? And boom, like they made it more powerful for me. So now I have, I still went back and forth. Please change the 48 hours after install text message to something different in the same light. Again, went back and forth until I got it exactly how I wanted it. Boom, plugged it in for my team to update. And then I updated the trigger logic, right? So send each, I should say text, right? Send each text only if this and that. If they do that, stop the text sequence. So anyways, you're seeing how the sausage is made. But again, you're noting that we're not just taking the outputs they give us as set it and forget it outputs. Like you have to work with the AI, right? If you're going to get the same value as the top 1%, you got to work with it. You can't just take exactly what they're doing as gold and saying, oh, this is done, right? The reason I'm harping on this so much is because I've spent the last year, maybe two, just playing around with AI, and I've been super nerdy about it, right? And I've gone through phases where I'm like, man, AI is the best thing in the world. This is so good. It can't make a mistake. It's incredible. It's so powerful. To then on the other end of the spectrum being like, yeah, it's really cool, but I'm not actually doing things that are making me money for my business, or I'm not actually increasing my productivity. Like, it's kind of just like a fun tool to play around with, right? I've been on both ends of the spectrum. And I realized that if you're in that second camp saying, oh, it's not really that powerful, it's because you're making these mistakes. It's because you are either being lazy, you're fire hose requesting it, or you're just taking it as a set it and forget it output, and not thinking of AI the right way. The way you need to think of AI is that, again, you are the orchestrator. Like, this AI is not a replacement for everything. You still have to think for yourself. You still have to sit there and think from first principles. You still have to know your customer, right? You still have to know what the goal is, know what the outcome is, know what the primary benefit, if you're a business owner, know what the primary benefit of your software is to people, how it helps people. And then you have to use AI with that knowledge to leverage its power and its efficiency for doing grunt work and doing dirty work, right? So again, a lot of people are sitting here thinking like AI is just this shortcut to that's just gonna like make you $1 billion overnight. Like, no, like otherwise all 7 billion people on, or 8 billion people on Earth would be using AI to make $1 billion overnight, and it wouldn't be valuable for anybody because like all of the arbitrage is gone. All of the opportunity is gone. It's an efficient market. So don't be lazy with AI. That's my takeaway for you. Don't be lazy. Like, the people that are getting the most out of it are still not being lazy with it. It's just making them 10x more efficient or 100x more efficient. And they are still using their brain to think for themselves, to give it the context that it needs, and to work with it as a partner rather than a complete substitute for everything, right? So I hope that's helpful for you. If you have questions, comments, please drop them in the comments below. If you have anything you'd like to see next, please also drop those in the comments below. If you are looking or interested in checking out Solin or getting a free meal plan, trying 7 days free of our meal planning software, our high protein meal plan generator, as well as our recipe generator, everything inside Solin Prime, which is a ton of stuff, and we give 7 days free, you can go ahead and check that out in the bio below or in the caption below. And I think there's actually like a 30% discount code for you if you want to check out the annual plan. So you can do that. And then finally, please smash the subscribe button if you find value from this content. All right. We will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.